Hello, my angels. It's me, Lord Nicolina, and welcome back to Angel Rise. First off, I would like to apologize for the lack of content over the last couple weeks. I honestly haven't had the best motivation to do any videos, plus I have been busy with family life. So that's taken up a good majority of my time. Regardless, I am back, and ready to make more content for you all. Speaking of which, I do have a big announcement for you all. From March 11th to 17th, this channel will be the site of the Week of the First Two Saints. And why, you may ask? It's to celebrate the creation anniversaries of my OCs Nicolina and Nicol Daisy. Nicolina's anniversary is on March 17th, while Nicol Daisy's is on March 11th. So I will be making a few videos in celebration of their creations, which will include 2 poem videos and a skit. So stay tuned, everyone. You won't want to miss it. And with that being said, let's get into this episode of Angel Rise. I'm sure you all watching this video have quite a few video games that you enjoyed in your younger years. And that's exactly the topic of this episode, in which I would like to share with you all 4 of my favorite video games when I was growing up. One of which I actually mentioned in a previous episode. So get your controllers ready, you're in for a great experience. Game number 1, NHL 13. This game I played a lot when I was around 11 to 12 years old, and I played it on my old Xbox 360. For a refresher, and for those who don't know, I am a massive sports fan, and still am to this day, especially for hockey, and playing this game was no different to the love I had for sports back then. What's this game about, you may ask? It's a game where you, of course, play as all the teams in the National Hockey League, plus various other hockey leagues from around the world. You can choose to play as the home team or the road team, choose which jerseys you want to wear, take part in a season simulation, play in the playoffs, and even have whatever players you want play for your team, with various options. Heck, you can even create your own team. In my case, I swapped players around teams like crazy. I honestly can't remember which teams I sent certain players to, but I was an absolute sucker for trades. Seeing players playing on teams that were unique to them and keeping up with the actual rosters of NHL teams was what influenced me the most. Also, I played on season mode quite a bit, and barely lost. Well, on the mode I set it on, that being rookie mode, since I didn't have much experience. Adding on to this, I would often play other EA Sports NHL games before NHL 13, that being with my younger cousin on his PlayStation 3. Whenever I would visit him, we would always play against each other. Oftentimes he would win, but I would win sometimes. There was this one time I recount that I won solely based on the fact that I only scored empty net goals, because I struggled with scoring when goalies were in the net. It's honestly funny now looking back on it, and seeing how desperate I was to win at the time. Getting back to NHL 13, another thing I loved about the game was the soundtrack. These were songs I've never heard of before, and I genuinely liked them. The songs included I actually listened to today, which include Seven Seas Blues by Monster Truck and Shoot the Noise Man by Battle Me, the latter of which I'm the most familiar with. Soundtracks, in my opinion, make any EA Sports NHL game that I play more memorable. Because there will always be a song or two I'll always remember from it. Overall, whichever EA Sports NHL game I play, I enjoy so much. But NHL 13 will always be at the top of that list. Game number 2. Mario and Sonic at the Vancouver 2010 Olympic Winter Games. As a Canadian, I was quite excited to hear about the Winter Olympics coming to Canada, since Vancouver is in Canada after all, and it was the first ever Olympics I got to watch. There are many memorable moments from the games, including my home country of Canada winning 14 gold and the winning goal in the men's hockey gold medal game by NHL superstar Sidney Crosby. But those moments pale in comparison to playing this absolute gem of a video game. Fun fact, this is one of a few games that I've played on multiple consoles. I have both the Nintendo DS version and the Nintendo Wii version of this game. I started with the DS version, which I honestly adored. I didn't play too many events on there, but the big ones I played were hockey, bobsleigh, and skeleton. My favorite part about the DS version, though, was the story mode, referred to as Adventure Tours. I really loved it because of the challenges it gave and the many parts of the area to explore. Some of the challenges in question were quite tough, especially one I had with Dry Bowser in a dream skiing event known as Supersonic Downhill. I'm unsure if I beat it or not, as my memory is not the best when it comes to the game, but it was quite tough from what I can remember. As much as I like the DS version, the Wii version I find significantly better. It was quite difficult at first dealing with the motion controls, but as time went on, my confidence skyrocketed. And I kid you not, I played every single event in the game. Each of them were so much fun. While hockey was no question my favorite event to play alongside bobsleigh and skeleton, I also enjoyed playing snowboard cross, ski cross, and figure skating. And even curling, especially dream curling, where it's a mix of curling and bowling. Are you kidding me? Whoever came up with the idea for that deserves a massive raise. With the motion controls, it made for some interesting runs. Even sometimes where I managed to recover after making mistakes and still get something good out of those events, even as good as getting a medal. I honestly need to pick this game up again, because even though it's over 10 years old now and I haven't played it in a while, it still gives me a lot of joy to play. Mario and Sonic at the Vancouver 2010 Olympic Winter Games, I'll forever keep in my heart as one of my all-time favorite video games, and one of my favorite video games from when I was growing up. Game number 3, Mario Super Sluggers. This was one of the first video games I ever played, on the Wii in particular. Adding on to the sports fanatic side of my life, baseball is my second favorite sport, and boy, this game adds to that. For those of you who don't know, Mario Super Sluggers is the follow-up to Mario Superstar Baseball, which was released for the GameCube in 2005. I barely played the original Mario Superstar Baseball, and honestly, I think it pales in comparison to Super Sluggers. To have a whole island dedicated to baseball, and with so many incredible stadiums, from the classic baseball turf in Mario Stadium, to the ice rink field at Peach's Ice Garden, and heck, even the pavement-style field of Wario City. But seriously, who would want to slide on pavement? I sure wouldn't. And for good reason. Regardless, each stadium has its own ways to make any game super special. From getting extra base hits when you least expect to, causing crazy errors, or even hitting the shortest home runs. I've had my fair share of them. As for the story mode, it was definitely fun to play when I was younger, and no question it was tough at some points. But thinking back on it now, I would say it's my least favorite part of the game. It's not that I don't like it, but I do find it quite sketchy at some portions. It also made me realize that some of the characters I was playing as in the game were actual enemies in the main Mario games, like Hammer Bros, Goombas, and Koopas. But it didn't mean I liked the game any less though. Almost everything about this game I love. Animations, abilities, you name it. My most favorite part of the game, however, is the ability to switch between day and night to play games. I mean, seriously, how good could this game get by implementing that? And quite a few Mario sports games have followed this trend, including Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Strikers Battle League. This is also the game where my love for the Super Mario series got started. And I honestly don't care if it's a spin-off. If the game has Mario in the title, it's a Mario game in my books. I honestly think if it weren't for this game, my love for the Super Mario series may not be as strong as it is now. Overall, I think it's fair to say that this game called Play Ball out to me to begin my love of the Super Mario series. There was pun intended there, by the way, but still, Mario Super Sluggers is no question the best Mario-themed game I've ever played. And finally, game number 4, and my favorite of them all, Donkey Kong 64. This is the video game of my childhood. And in case you didn't get the hint at the beginning of the episode, this is the game I was referring to. I previously mentioned it back in episode 20. As for how my love of the game started, here's how it went. The first ever video game console I played on was the Nintendo 64. Yes, you heard me right. Even though I was born in the early 2000s, around the time the GameCube was made, the Nintendo 64 was the first console I played on. However, Donkey Kong 64 was not the first game I played. The first game I played was Mario Kart 64, another game I love. It didn't take me too long to discover Donkey Kong 64, however. I can't remember its exact ranking on when I played it, but I do remember when I was around 6 to 8 years old and saw my older sister play it, I started playing it. And everything about it was nothing short of amazing and hilarious. Some of the sound effects and some portions of the voice acting were what made this hilarious. More specifically, the lines, "Get out!" and "Come on!" The "come on" makes me laugh especially. The others made me either super hyped or super scared. More specifically, the "get out." As for the levels, there were only 4 that I experienced during my initial playthrough. That being Jungle Japes, Angry Aztec, Frantic Factory, and Gloomy Galleon. When I was around 11 to 12 years old, however, that's when I went deeper into the game and experienced the other 3 main levels in the game. that being Fungi Forest, Crystal Caves, and Creepy Castle. I even got as far as trying to shut down King K. Rool's Blast-O-Matic, but I was quite nervous about it, and I never got to fully experience it back then. But I did collect all 40 blueprints when I dedicated myself to completing the game, which gave me the maximum time to shut down the machine, that being 50 minutes. After that, I didn't play the game for nearly a decade, but I decided to pick it back up again last year, and it made me realize how great of a game I played when I was younger. I even gained a lot more respect for the DK rap, as I would often skip it when I started the game, and still do now, but I listen to the rap in my spare time, and I honestly think it's really good. Looking back on it now, this game does have a truckload of collectibles, and they are somewhat exhausting to get. At the same time, however, I feel it makes for an amazing adventure, and as characters are rescued, it gives more areas to explore that initially haven't been unlocked, more particularly in the first 2 levels. My most favorite part of the game, however, has to be the themes for each level. No level theme is the same, and the music for each level portrays it incredibly well. From the desert environment of Angry Aztec, to the technological excellence of Frantic Factory, and even the spooky vibes of Creepy Castle. Getting back into this game has given me an appreciation beyond what I experienced when I first played it. Donkey Kong 64 will always have this special place in my life as being my favorite childhood video game. It couldn't be more perfect than it truly is. Overall, without any doubts, I can honestly say that these 4 video games have a special place in my heart, and playing them gives me a lot of joy, knowing that they are instant classics in my eyes. There you have it, everyone. Episode 32 is in the books. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we all have our favorite video games from when we were kids, which leads me to ask this. What are your favorite childhood video games? Please feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this episode, definitely feel free to leave a like and share this with your loved ones. Spread the word about Angel Rise. For those who are new and would like to join this journey of mine, then please feel free to subscribe to join the Blue and White Angel Brethren today. Click on the notification bell as well so that you are notified whenever I release new content. And check out my other videos too. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Angel Rise. I hope you all have a great day or night whenever you are watching this. Until we meet again, my name is Lord Nicolina. Be strong, stay positive, and as always, God bless.